Yes, welcome to the finals of the Sand Goblins Obsidian Doors Release Tournament, Summoner Wars Online.
Burr, burr, burr.
I am,
That's Joe.
I'm Joe. This is Colby. We're here to
I had to
give,
remind him of his name real
we'll
quick.
give you the play-by-play. Follow the ins and outs, insightful commentary.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the human backstory on these contenders.
Yep.
Really dig into the psychology of how each one of them thinks.
If you are in the chat, give us a wave or say hi so we know that we're not talking completely into an empty void. But yeah, let's talk about this matchup. So we've got SIP, aka SIP, aka SIP.
Yeah, you have to yell it. It's all caps.
So this guy, 17-3 this tournament, did really well. 3-1 as the Savanna Elves. Also,
17 of 18 in this tournament. So he's only lost one game.
17-3.
17-3.
Yes.
3 games this tournament.
So we've only had 5 tournaments with finals, with like a final one-on-one match, and he's now been in 3 out of 5 of them.
This is the beating the fifth.
Yes. Our 4 tournament winners have been Donkey, who beat SIP, Prophet, Bradolph, and SIP. And so he's the first potential 2-time champion. He's the first. Oh, look, Jake's here. See, somebody's here.
And so is Nikki.
Hey, Jake, let me know what you want to play tonight at game night.
Cool.
I could use some brass.
This is just a phone call between Jake and
Okay, first potential defending champion, which is pretty cool. He's at this point.
Wait, how is he the first potential defending champion? If
Like,
this is his third.
Because he lost his first finals.
Oh, gotcha.
So we have all different finalists. Yeah, he's objectively the most accomplished Summoner Wars Online player. Now, although I don't know anything about the league, and I just learned the other day when we were recording that there's ladders, and I'd be curious if he's in that and where he is on that.
Yeah, I would love to have the league be part of the app someday. Get it automated.
Maybe we could talk sometime on the podcast to the people who do a lot of work on it.
Maybe we should maybe we shouldn't talk to each other except for on the podcast. We only record whenever we talk to each other. We're always recording.
Just to avoid conversation with me?
No, we just need to record all the conversation.
You didn't have to move.
All this
here.
Content. all this content is just wasted.
That's true. Okay, so SIP, yeah, looking good. Also won as Savanna Elves in the last tournament. Savanna Elves actually, let's see here, 2-0 in the finals going into today. Fallen Kingdom is our other ones. So this is a huge underdog story, because on the other end we've had a total unknown as far as the tournaments. Andersbt has never been in a Summoner Wars tournament before.
This is his first ever tournament, not first ever finals, first ever tournament, full stop.
Yes, and went 15-5, 3-1 with the Fallen Kingdom, and picked the Fallen Kingdom as their top faction at sign up. Now that's put them. Oh, look at this. James says he's currently playing for the top spot in the league. So yeah, he's just as epic in the league. So picked Fallen Kingdom. So we ended up with the Savanna Elves Fallen Kingdom matchup, because that was their top 2 factions when they signed up. And so Fallen Kingdom has been underperforming even in the tournaments. We've not well. In general play, Fallen Kingdom only beats Savanna Elves 37% of the time.
Yeah, this is a real tough matchup for Fallen Kingdom then.
Outside of Vanguard's matchups, it is literally the worst matchup in the game.
We've got some help for Vanguards, and we announced recently that the Vanguard Summoner Sarah is going up to 3 attack.
Yeah, it's yes. So it's a whole new ball game for Sarah, but not for Rhett, at least not yet. And so Rhett is in this tournament not any better, 1-5 versus Abua. So yeah,
This is
it's
going to be a real underdog story. So I'm the kind of guy that cheers for the underdog. So
yeah. And I was saying earlier,
I'm looking for the Fallen Kingdom to pull out the.
Sip is kind of the Tom Brady right now. Summer Wars Online, and Colby hates Tom Brady, as you can see. He's got his Bills hoodie on. So
So sorry, Sip, but I guess I don't like you.
I mean, I love the Fallen Kingdom. They're my favorite faction. So I'm also, to be honest, kind of cheering for and for Fallen Kingdom for Andersbt, um, you know, I gotta look at reality. I gotta give you guys the facts here on the stream, and we'll kind of see how it goes. Um, you know, I also run the tournament, so I shouldn't be biased, but they would have emailed me if there was some kind of problem. So it's all decided already. Don't worry about it. James says he remembers when Tom Brady was the underdog versus the Ram. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, I remember. How about the Tuck Rule game? Classic. All right, I've got a close friend who's a huge Patriots fan. Still likes Drew Bledsoe better than Tom Brady. That's how unlikable the guy is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the Patriots even though they're in our division until Belichick and Brady.
All right, we ready to get this started? Let's see.
Now I want to talk more about football.
Fallen Kingdom first appearance in a final, as I said. Savanna Elves. Now, oh, by the way, I noticed Polar Dwarves 0-3 in the finals,
Oh, Polar Dwarves not winning final, showing up there
and
a lot, but not winning.
exactly. And you can see Savanna Elves a lot more successful now in this tournament. In the last tournament, they've had a new starting setup that tucks away that lioness. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, I came up with it. They've come down. They've been close to 50% the last two tournaments, but I don't know. It stops their early momentum probably, but it also keeps that when they go first, but it keeps that lioness safe to build up. So
yeah, people looking at the screen might be like, "That's not what Reptiles' life is."
right.
That's not the starting setup for Ibushi. Yeah, the tournaments are usually have little tweaks in them, little testers for balance based on wins in previous tournaments from a faction and stuff like that.
The other thing about this game is this tournament we tried a bid system for first player. You got to see your opening hand and your matchup, and at that point you can bid up to 3 magic. Everybody starts with 3 magic, as you can see there, and
both bid 0 magic. Neither was interested in going.
No, this is the beginning of the game. We could
the
see
bid hasn't happened.
We
yet.
can see in the log that they both bid 1.
Okay.
And that's why we're questioning whether to even do this going forward, because 9 times out of 10 both players just bid 1. It turns out we did a decent job balancing first player and the first place.
Yeah, that's basically the base.
Yeah, it's just scratch, like just regular Summoner Wars, is it? And that's what happened here in the finals. And if anybody cared, like the Savanna Elves tend to, although I don't know what the starting setup. All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Let's start this off.
People aren't here for us; they're for SIP.
Yes, the superstar of the league, our most bankable star. So Savanna Elves do get to go first. That's pretty easy kill there, and a couple archers. Gonna have to get lucky to get this one. Didn't get lucky. Okay, but that's a lot of life on the board right off the bat.
Oh, I think he's gonna kill his own carrier to get a fresh carrier.
Yeah, itself.
Yeah.
Classic Fallen Kingdom move.
He's gonna infect the carrier to make a healthy carrier.
I did see Anders lost this matchup in the during the tournament, but if he is new to the game, which I don't really know if that's the case, a little chain of growth happening here.
Yeah, looks like he's got a nice.
If he is,
oh, this rhino's moving.
yeah, he got kind of beaten by the a lioness copying a rhino at the end. I don't know. I'm guessing he learned some lessons. Both of these factions are pretty explosive and can kill you pretty quick. Abua really has it's a really tight.
Wow. I didn't get it Sunday.
All right, so Rhett is summoning stuff with Raise the Dead, not
Already pulling out the
hesitating.
sacrificial pyre.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to hang on to it all game. Those kind of cards where they have a very high upper limit.
right.
People can end up holding on longer than what is beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a good decision. Ooh, let's see who's getting this Hellforged weapon, getting a little +2 action. The carrier must be going for this archer.
Well, they're trying to take out this rhino. And
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's see. 2 on the rhino.
carrier's going to finish the job.
Boom. Now, does he have any left? Oh, yeah. That's some efficiency.
And that carrier is back in the pile, so he's got another carrier ready to go.
Just like he planned it. There's a lot on the board right now.
All right. Okay. Looks like this carrier might be going.
Getting a lot of archers here. Yep.
Now, kills aren't that bad for him right now because they're heals on Rhett because sacrificial pyre.
Yeah. Well, he's already. Oh, that's right. He goes up to 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So he's kind of daring him to kill his guys.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it's all free magic. I could see why you're going for it.
Blood summon.
Blood summon. Now, this is we were talking about on the podcast. This is a target a unit, choose a unit in your hand with cost of 2 or less, place it adjacent to the target, add 2 damage to the target. Can do a lot, or it can be pretty hard to get anything out of. So he's doing life on the carrier. Get the cultist, get some free damage done, powering up his warriors at the same time.
Archer, which opens up the soul shift.
That was all during the summon phase.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, we're seeing some great play so far from Anders in this Fallen Kingdom.
I mean,
maybe there's hope.
He didn't get here by luck.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He had to go through Prophet, Orange Lazarus, some really great players I noticed in the final pull with them.
Some players we've seen at the upper echelons.
Yeah. Yeah, Prophet's a former champion.
Sip's here. I regret everything I said about you.
Sip. All right, so we've got the archer. He's a ton of archer action, which is really no surprise. They've always been known as near the top of the food chain.
Yeah, you don't necessarily, I think, recognize that if you're just a casual player, but their tricks are real good.
Yeah, Midi Kairu also. Here's
another
looking good
zombie heal.
I love the zombie heals. I don't know if it's gonna work out for him. I mean,
it's it's a little bit of magic down. Fortunately, all I did was wound him.
Yeah, that was unlucky. So
yeah, that move did not pay off.
But I don't know. He's got a lot of resources. I mean, Midi Kairu is a big chunk of resources on the battlefield, though. That's just sitting there safely for now. So
he's just waiting to do something with Midi, huh? Doesn't want to expose Midi to damage, I suppose. Oh, just wants to get those new units coming in and then get some inspires off. Maybe it's a little boost engine for him. That second sacrificial pyre.
Well, that's needed at this point. He's got 6 he could heal. Wonder if we'll get any other events with him.
And a loot ball comes out.
A loot ball guarantees 1 heal with by killing something.
Yeah, well, it pretty much guarantees 2 because 6 damage is going to kill most commons.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, he's just getting all these heals just off of raw firepower. I like that loot ball placement. He's looking very safe from Midi Kairu.
Boost on Midi. Oh,
for withdraw, yeah. So I mean that's critical.
So that he's playing Midi back in order to only bring it up when it can.
Yeah.
Damage and not take damage in return.
I've noticed this, our kind of mid-level play that me and you do, we tend to be gates forward, and top players it really depends. And you could see Sip has a very backward gate.
That's a great roll there against Midi. But Midi is going to take out a loop ball, it looks like.
Yeah,
Would there be
very
an
good
unlucky
chance,
roll not
but
to? Red's back up to 12 life. Whoa! Talk about
whoa!
unlucky rolls.
Although that would have done a damage to a Bua. Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good. It was good use of sacrificial pyre by
Okay, here
Fallen
comes the
Kingdom twice.
purge. Gonna boost up his
All
warrior.
right, so it should be the. Yep,
He's
and
gonna use that to shift the archer down.
if only he could. Yeah.
Beautifully done. Can't hide from those archers.
Meanwhile, focusing on this lioness, which you do got to do,
You eventually gotta take them out.
and yeah.
Had a couple of beefy warriors from all the kills.
Yeah, he's actually got some leftover boost, which is, I mean, he's gotten a lot of ingredients that lead to a really
What are we
good.
looking at on the economy? Most of them have 3 cards in their deck. Both of them have similar amounts of magic.
You guys can't see it, but 3 in the hand as well for Savanna Elves right now. So yeah, actually he's doing great. I have to say, yeah, he hasn't touched a Bua, but maybe if he can win economically, like you could be real strong in late
game.
game.
Up economically.
Yes, but Fallen Kingdom finishes strong on that front. You know what I mean?
Right, because you can keep summoning.
By plus carriers too.
Even if your deck is empty, you can still bring stuff out, but it's costing Ret Talus life the whole time.
Yeah, but you got carriers. But now what we haven't seen though is a chain of strength. So
got a big warrior again. He's really good at getting those warriors all jazzed up. You get them big enough, they only lose 2 boost at the end of the attack phase. So you get them big enough, and they have some momentum going into the next attack phase.
Yeah,
he's coming way forward.
Yeah,
he's really trying to keep the pressure.
I mean, there's some danger there, but man, look at this.
I mean, there's some fast stuff for sure.
Right.
And there's some crazy combos that a Bua can pull off.
Oh man, I can't. This has turned out to be a great game.
Normally fast, and then pull out of strength. I would not want Ret anywhere.
So this game only took like 36 hours from the play. I was really worried it was going to end real fast. It's been great. Great job to both players. This is really exciting. All right. So yeah, he's on the attack. There's only so much a Bua can have in the tank. You just got to avoid that one, big mistake.
Good positioning on Ret, because not even a trample is going to get him there unless it's like a.
Well,
spends a lot to generate.
Yeah. Which there's only so much that a Bua can do. So, dang. All right, so now he's going for it.
Hit a Bua.
So we've only seen one champ from Fallen Kingdom.
I'd be worried about Makinda getting like
an insane number of dice with a chain of power. Yeah.
I think he's working towards it.
Yeah, that we're kind of seeing this turn around a little bit. But we don't know. We have no idea what Fallen Kingdom has, truly.
Still summoning off of Ret.
Yeah, these aren't good enough. They're giving as much as they're getting, unfortunately. But he's got 2 cards in hand.
Kill his own archer.
Yeah, to then try to kill the rhino.
Because he wants the rhino dead.
Would help a lot, and he got it. He did get it. Okay, so now there's enough.
That's a pretty good tech right there.
Oh,
no. the very rare MIDI mumway summon. That's a lot. That's a big boy right there.
Makinda still with 8 life. That is a lot to have to take down.
MIDI mumway is a female, I think.
Okay.
It's a plant.
So. Dang. Wow. That was like perfect time for MIDI Mumway.
Oh man, but Ret is still it still looks like a give up right here.
Well, what are you gonna do? That's so much life. 19 life between those two champs. So
Yeah,
they're going
this
for
looks
it.
like the end right
It
here.
looks like the end. This was a great game though. Um, Still two cards in hand at the end.
Man, two
So
cards
maybe
on
some
Fallen
champs.
Kingdom. Yeah, see, that's why I didn't understand why he went forward. So, but yeah, maybe he had his other two champs.
Yeah, I mean that it's a tough balance. Congrats to SIP, our first defending
Two-time,
champion.
yeah.
It's tough with the Fallen Kingdom. There's a balance between generating those units at the end and giving away resources, and it
Really
just
close game, though.
Midi Mumway is perfect for Midi Mumway. To come in and stomp over people and not be turned into a zombie. And, plus it's his attack. So
Well, he
yeah,
threw so many units there at him at the end,
right.
trying to overwhelm him, and it's almost like Sip prepared for it by holding Midi Mumway in hand. So if he ended up like with an abundance of magic,
Yeah. Yeah, Sip, let us know what you were thinking there in the second half of the game. Great job. Congrats. Defended the belt. So that's big. Wow. And also congrats on where you're at from what we hear in the Summoner Wars League, assuming that wasn't a lie. This person knows what they're doing. And in the league, you just play a set matchup. So it's not even, he's won with Savannah. It's not just Sip,
not
but
just
also
basic.
Savanna Elves are twice in a row champions. So yeah. Um, I put out a survey towards the end of this tournament, just asking for people's feedback on the tournaments for everybody who participated. So I thought could have a little chat about that too. If you guys got questions or thoughts about things, leave it in the chat. By the way, SIP says it has always been pronounced in the same way as SIP in each community outside. So SIP. It's SIP.
Yeah, he put it
It's not
lowercase that
SIP.
time.
SIP. Okay, so a few takeaways from the survey. They were, really positive. Um, One thing, a lot of people really want to be able to sort of practice with sort of the tournament stats. So that's kind of two different kinds of skill, right? The ability to like see like, oh, well, now that Rhett's at 14 life, whoa, now I believe this and no one else believes that he's the summoner to beat now, right? There's like that aspect. But I think more common is more of an athlete kind of mindset of like, you want to practice, you want to hone, you want to be at the top of your game. Some people were asking about that just for private games. Can think about it. It's probably more of a question of coding, and if I can find the time for that than anything. Uh, any thoughts about that? I like the like we'll see. It's a different environment, but
Yeah, we're not even really deciding on those things way beforehand or anything either. It's
well, yeah, that's
kind of
part of
looking
it.
back at other data and making a call when it's time for another tournament.
But that is, we'll see in the long term if we have this on, 2 to 4 other platforms. Like updates are going to have to be a little bit more careful and thought out. Now I could just throw something up on a day. Um, so that could change too, as in relation to that. Something else people were asking. Well, the big thing, a negative. There weren't a lot of negatives, but and I understand this, but people, it sucks to lose on tiebreakers that are way down the line, right, in your pool. Um, and I mean, Anders, who played great in this game, loved seeing the Fallen Kingdom in the finals. Was in like a 4-way tie. Ended up winning based on head to head. The two of them moved on, and then Anders had the win over Prophet or somebody like that in their head to head. That's why they moved on. But if you go enough down the line, you end, especially early in the pools in the first couple rounds, you end up at faction wins. And people kind of commented that they don't like whoever's factions have the least total wins in the tournament. That's a positive, right? Because you've done it with less favored faction. Some people said, "Hey, can it be percentage?" Well, we did that in the first couple tournaments. I didn't like that because there was like a tournament where it was like Vanguards were the least played by far, like less than half of any other faction, but they went like 18 and 20 or something, or 20 and 18. I think they even had a winning record.
Yeah, I felt like I mean that was there were no adjustments in that tournament,
Right.
so I felt like playing Vanguards in that tournament was kind of a flex. So maybe only the best players will come.
Well, yeah, and
Better.
so I felt like, well, that's not like there's so much self selection with picking your factions that yes, like weaker factions can kind of move up because less people are playing them. So I feel like just counting the raw wins is a better, is a more fair comparison.
It's also a way to help us see a variety of matchups in the finals. As far as the different factions go.
Sip says first half of the game was really hard, but somehow managed to stabilize. So yeah.
Was that Sip? Was that Midi Mumway in hand? Kind of a, if he throws a bunch at me, maybe I can outlast and end up with enough magic for this guy.
Yeah. Or what at the beginning of a game? What do you feel like your odds are of summoning Midi Mumway, Sip? Because there's some conventional wisdom that Midi Mumway is weak. I don't know if I have an opinion, but
I mean he's fun to play. I'd say that.
Right. A champ's a champ. That's the thing. That's it. People, we're doing these first couple card updates, and they're both,
Mumway might grow in value in the late game when you're looking at what their potential the other player has left. You've seen their events and stuff. You know that they might not necessarily have the tricks in hand to like deal an absurd amount of damage in a single turn to your huge investment on a champion.
Yeah, and Ibua can always boost MIDI, right? That's not true of every deck. Doesn't can't just do that at will. So, yeah, and a champ's a champ. When we've talked about balance changes, and some people are like, oh, how about the weaker champs? But that's less urgent to me because it just doesn't. It doesn't affect the whole deck, and there's always going to be tweaks we'd want to make to cards. That's never going to end. There's no perfect set. But then second, a champ is still a champ, and at the end of the day, you've got a champ and the magic in an endgame situation. It's going to be very advantageous. So it's not there's none of them are unplayable.
First time chat.
First time chat.
Hey, it's Anders.
Mumway was playing like 5 turns ahead. He's saying 5 ahead. So yeah, that's really smart. Hoping Anders said I was hoping I can get my second blood summon, put some pressure on Ibua. Hey Anders, let us know about your history with Summoner Wars. Did you play first edition? Are you very new to the game? Waiting for Chant of Power? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let us know what your experience has been. For all I know, you've been in the league for like a year, but would love to hear. Loved that you played Fallen Kingdom. You did a great job. Okay. Anyway, so there's not so much we could do about tiebreakers. It's a reality. If you're ever in-person card tournaments, I mean, it's even more brutal. Like the tiebreakers you lose on. I was in one first edition tournament. One edition. Yeah. So Anders has played Summoner Wars for a long time. Let us know if you've been, when you've jumped on to Summoner Wars Online 2nd edition. Okay, anyway, so with the tiebreakers, I'm thinking about formats for the next tournament. One thing I've thought about is just to change it up a little, pick 3 decks, have a 7-person pool. You play the pool over 2 weeks. So you just play 3 games at a time. Sounds like really even and spread, right? Okay, here's the weird thing about that. A 7-person pool means 21 games. This sounds like it can't be right, but it is. And you actually can't play, everybody plays 3 games and then 3 games with the 3 same decks again. Like, instead, it ends up being one person needs to play 4 and 2, and everybody else can play 3 and 3. And as far as when you're going to get, if you have Savanna Elves, you're not going to be guaranteed to have one in the first week, one in the second week.
I
It's
understood like
weird.
half of what you said.
It's not as clean as I want it to be, but it would be a way to a difference would be letting people hone in their decks to certain decks a little more, a little bit less tiebreakers as you know every time you add another player to the pool. Plus, it's more total games to measure by. So I always love bigger pools anyway because I love getting more data and
Well,
seeing.
hopefully, if we can automate this tournament stuff, we can also have them running a little more frequently, and you know,
Yeah, like start. Yes,
I
I
think
mean,
them being a less rare event also takes the sting out a little bit of
right,
it's so close, and then
right,
this fourth down the line tiebreaker knocked me out.
right. Exactly. Yeah. Right now, like maybe every 2 months or whatever, and I think we'll get the next signups up today or tomorrow. So, um, it'll be more and more common. But Anders says, Sip used Abua's 5 attack value very well along with his champs. Made me feel like I overextended my carrier chain. But you got to love a carrier chain. And sometimes that is suffocating in the end of a game in a different situation.
Yeah, Bua having 5 attack really does handle that a lot, and you end up feeding him magic.
Right. And
Which, if he hadn't held midi, wouldn't have been that big of a problem. Probably would have been a lot of wasted magic.
he said he whiffed that carrier healing that one turn that we noted
Yeah,
where he that
heals in the same turn. Yeah.
that did hurt. And yeah, Abua, yes, I wonder if that's a big factor in why it's such a lopsided matchup is yeah, Abua could just take out a carrier from scratch.
Yeah.
So even if you fully healed one, there's a ton of summoners that need to get really lucky
Reliable
to take one out.
value is pretty powerful. That's why he's got low life.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great game. To be honest, I was really worried, like, oh boy, the match went quick. In real life, it didn't take much time. And with this matchup, and SIP is a killer, obviously, or SIP, I should say. And yeah, instead we got a great match. And Anders, hope you sign up for the next tournament. Hope you make it far again.
Yeah, it was fun to watch play.
Yeah, it was a really good game. So yeah, everybody should look out in the next 24 hours or so for the next tournament for sure. And I'd love to see you sign up. I think I might try that 7-player pool thing. Well, I don't think it'll be a disaster.
Shadow Elves and Wayfarers are coming soon.
Yep. They'll be in the app, of
February
course,
23rd.
too, around the time that we launch them. Andrew says loves Obsidian Dwarf, so they might be my top faction next tournament. Man, people love those two factions, and we knew they would.
Yeah.
We were so hyped about people getting their hands on them. And I watched Anders played a game where Fallen Kingdom beat the Sand Goblins in the tournament, and it's like every time you watch them, it's just the Sand Goblins. You're just like, oh, it's like that mortar card. You put that on a gate or on sneaks Krusk, and it's so powerful, but you're just throwing away resources every time you use it. Like it's such a
Right. That's the whole deal with the Sand Goblins.
Yep, and Obsidian Dwarfs you're taking chances with both those, even though Krusk is not a Horn's primal risk-taking technical, symbol. They both play in that lane, so yeah. We will see you guys for the next finals. This is really great. We've got a objectively most accomplished. There's no objective best. There's no such things. But the most accomplished Summoner Wars second edition player of all time, kind of right up there with Orange Lazarus, because Orange Lazarus has won both in person big tournaments. So there's that side of the game too. Look forward to seeing how Polar Dwarves and Vanguards are affected. We'll definitely scale back the adjustments to cards to kind of see how this new reality affects things with the permanent changes. We'll just have a couple probably besides those. So yeah.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.